Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wished you could walk through life unaffected by the opinions, negativity, or drama around you? Have you ever wanted to be so calm, so grounded, so powerful that nothing and no one could shake you? Knowing your worth is the foundation of becoming untouchable. It's not just about confidence, it's about deeply understanding who you are at your core and standing firm in that truth no matter what the world throws at you. When you truly know your worth, people's opinions lose their grip on your emotions. Their praise doesn't inflate your ego, and their criticism doesn't crush your spirit. You become steady, grounded, clear. This isn't about arrogance, it's about clarity. It's about being able to look in the mirror and say, I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not shrinking myself to make anyone else feel comfortable. It's knowing that your value isn't up for negotiation, that you don't have to prove yourself to anyone who doesn't see it. People may try to project their insecurities onto you, make you doubt yourself, or make you feel like you're not enough. But when you know your worth, their projections don't stick. You don't absorb their energy, you reflect it back. So how do you get to that place? It starts with spending time with yourself, getting real, reflecting on your strengths, your growth, and yes, even your flaws. Not from a place of judgment, but from a place of ownership. You become untouchable when you're not running from yourself, when you're not hiding from your story. You accept it, you own it, you say, this is who I am, and I love myself enough to keep growing. That's powerful. Another important part of knowing your worth is not settling. When you value yourself, you don't chase people, opportunities, or environments that make you feel small. You don't tolerate disrespect or emotional crumbs. You understand that walking away isn't a loss, it's a win for your self-respect. You'd rather be alone with your peace than surrounded by people who drain you. That's what people who know their worth do. They choose peace over popularity. They protect their energy like it's sacred, because it is. And let's be honest, this isn't always easy. Sometimes we grow up in environments that made us question our worth. We're told we're too much or not enough. We're made to feel like we have to earn love, attention, or respect. But the truth is, your worth isn't determined by your past. It isn't based on your achievements, your looks, your income, or your mistakes. It's your birthright. It's already in you. The journey is about remembering that, not creating it from scratch. Every time you choose to believe in yourself, even just a little more than you did yesterday, you build that inner foundation. And the stronger it gets, the less anything external can shake it. You stop needing validation because you've already given it to yourself. You stop fearing rejection because you know rejection doesn't reduce your value. It just redirects your path. When you walk in that kind of confidence, people feel it. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to prove anything. You just move differently. You speak with purpose. You act with intention. And that presence, that's what makes you untouchable. Because people can sense when they can't play with your mind, your emotions, or your energy. So know your worth. Not in a surface level, I'm confident kind of way, but in a deep, unshakable, soul-rooted kind of way. That's where true power lives. And once you tap into it, nobody can take it from you. Mastering emotional control is one of the most powerful things you can ever do for yourself. When you let other people dictate how you feel, you're handing them power over your peace. But when you're in control of your reactions, your emotions no longer swing up and down based on how someone else acts. You become steady, you become grounded, you become unshakable. The truth is, most people don't have emotional control. They have emotional reactions. Someone says something rude, they explode. Someone disrespects them, they go off. They let anger, insecurity, jealousy, or fear drive the wheel. But here's the thing. Every time you react without thinking, you're letting someone else press your buttons. You're giving them access to your emotional world. That's like leaving the front door to your mind wide open and letting anyone walk in with their drama. But you're not just anyone. You're building yourself to be untouchable, and that requires discipline. It takes training. Emotional control isn't about being cold or numb. It's about being calm and conscious. It's about choosing your response instead of letting your emotions hijack the moment. It's about saying, I see what's happening here, and I choose not to let it control me. You'll be tested, no doubt about it. People will try you, they'll push your boundaries, test your patience, and try to get under your skin. But when you've trained yourself to pause, to breathe, to not let the heat of the moment control your actions, you win. Every time you keep your cool when someone else is losing theirs, you stay in power. That's emotional dominance. That's strength. Now let's be real. This isn't about never feeling emotions. You're human. You're supposed to feel. But emotional control means you don't let those feelings drive reckless decisions. You can feel angry without lashing out. You can feel hurt without falling apart. You can feel anxious and still take action. It's about channeling your emotions, not being chained by them. And here's what's wild. Once you start mastering this, people notice. They feel your energy shift. You become harder to manipulate. The same things that used to make you spiral don't even move you anymore. And it's not because you've stopped caring. It's because you've started choosing. You don't let every little thing get a reaction out of you. You don't give everyone that access. You become intentional with your energy. That's what emotional control gives you. Freedom. Freedom from overthinking, from unnecessary conflict, from regretful words said in anger. It allows you to show up as your best self, even when people try to bring out your worst. And that's rare. In a world where so many people are ruled by their feelings, you stand out by simply being in control of yours. And yes, it takes practice. You're going to mess up sometimes. You're going to react when you wish you hadn't. That's okay. What matters is that you keep training. You catch yourself quicker each time. You reflect. You grow. Little by little, you build that inner strength. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. So when life gets loud, when people come at you sideways, when emotions rise, breathe. Ground yourself. Remember who you are. Your peace is your power. And when you protect it, you step into a level of control most people never reach. That's how you move different. That's how you stop being reactive and start being untouchable. Letting go of external validation is one of the most liberating things you'll ever do for yourself. We're raised in a world that teaches us to seek approval at every step. Grades in school, likes on social media, compliments from friends, promotions at work. Somewhere along the way, we start to believe that our value comes from what other people think about us. That if we don't get applause, attention, or recognition, we're not good enough. But that's a trap, because the more you depend on outside approval, the more power you give away. If someone has to clap for you before you believe in yourself, they also have the power to make you doubt yourself the moment they stop clapping. When your self-worth is tied to validation, you're on a roller coaster, up when people praise you, down when they don't. But when you decide to let go of that need, everything changes. You stop performing. You stop people-pleasing. You start living for you. The truth is, not everyone is going to understand you. Not everyone is going to support you, and that's okay. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to be real, to be authentic, to grow into the version of yourself that feels aligned with your soul. That can't happen if you're constantly adjusting who you are to make other people comfortable. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be appreciated. That's human. But needing approval to feel whole, that's where it gets dangerous, because now your happiness depends on someone else's reaction. Now your confidence is fragile. One bad comment, one moment of rejection, and you're questioning your entire worth. But when your sense of self comes from within, no one can shake it. You become your own source of validation. You approve of yourself, and that's enough. Letting go of external validation doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop depending. It means you can hear feedback without letting it define you. You can listen to someone's opinion without feeling like you have to change just to keep their approval. You start choosing what's right over what's popular. You make decisions based on your values, not someone else's expectation. And it's not always easy. especially if you've spent your life trying to be what others wanted you to be. But the more you practice showing up as your true self, the more you realize how powerful that is. The freedom to say, "This is who I am, and I'm good with that," is a game changer. You no longer chase attention, you attract it by being real. You no longer beg to be seen, you walk in your worth and let people adjust their vision. People might not always like it when you stop seeking their approval. They might call you selfish, arrogant, or too independent. Let them. That says more about them than it does about you, because people who are used to controlling you with their opinions will always be uncomfortable when you stop needing their permission. The most authentic version of you is the most powerful one, and that version doesn't need applause. That version wakes up every day knowing they're enough, even when no one's watching. That version speaks the truth, even if it's unpopular. That version takes risks, makes moves, and stands tall, even in silence. The second you stop needing validation from others is the second you take your power back. You become lighter, stronger, more focused. You start making choices that align with your future, instead of trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. You become free, and in that freedom you become untouchable. Setting boundaries without guilt is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It's how you teach the world how to treat you. It's how you protect your energy, your peace, and your mental clarity. But for a lot of people, setting boundaries feels uncomfortable, especially when you're used to being the one who says yes all the time. You don't want to come off as rude, distant, or selfish. But here's the truth, having boundaries isn't selfish, it's self-respect. If you're constantly putting everyone else's needs above your own, if you're always available, always saying sure when your heart says no, you end up drained, resentful, burnt out. And the wild part is the people who benefit from your lack of boundaries are usually the ones who complain the most when you finally start setting them. But that shouldn't stop you, because if someone gets offended by you protecting your peace, they were benefiting from your lack of it. Boundaries aren't walls. You're not shutting people out. You're simply choosing what you will and won't allow in your life. You're saying, this is how I expect to be treated, and sticking to it. And sometimes that means uncomfortable conversations. Sometimes that means disappointing people. But your job isn't to keep everyone happy. Your job is to take care of yourself so you can show up whole, not hollow. It starts with recognizing your limits. Pay attention to how you feel around certain people in certain situations. Do you leave feeling drained, disrespected, dismissed? That's a sign. Your emotions are messengers, not weaknesses. And once you get clear on what's not okay with you, you have every right to speak up. You don't need a dramatic confrontation. You don't have to explain yourself 100 times. You can simply say, I'm not available for that, or that doesn't work for me, or I need some space right now. Direct, honest, respectful. The guilt might show up at first. That's normal, especially if you're used to overgiving. You'll second-guess yourself. You'll wonder if you were too harsh. But remind yourself, your boundary is not a betrayal. It's a declaration. It says, I value myself enough to protect my peace. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. The guilt fades, and what replaces it is clarity, is strength. A quiet kind of confidence that lets people know they can't just come into your life and do whatever they want. One of the biggest shifts happens when you stop expecting other people to understand your boundaries and start honoring them yourself, regardless of their reaction. Because not everyone will get it, not everyone will respect it, and that's okay. Your job is not to convince people, it's to stay true to yourself. You can be kind and still be firm. You can be loving and still say no. It's not either/or, it's both/and. And the beautiful thing, when you start setting boundaries, the right people won't be offended. They'll respect it. They'll admire it. They'll even be inspired to do the same. Boundaries don't push the right people away. They attract them. Because real connections thrive on mutual respect, not constant sacrifice. So speak up. Step back when you need to. Say no without explaining yourself. Choose your peace over pleasing, your time, your energy, your mental space. They're valuable. Not everyone deserves access to them. And the moment you realize that, the moment you stop feeling guilty for protecting what's yours, you become untouchable. When you're focused on your mission, the noise around you starts to fade. You don't get caught up in drama, distractions, or negativity because you're locked in on something bigger. You have a vision, a goal, a purpose that pulls you forward. That kind of focus is rare and it makes you powerful. People who are untouchable don't waste time chasing attention or clapping back at every critic. They're too busy building, growing, and moving with intention. Most people are reactive. They let their day get hijacked by distractions. They scroll for hours, get caught up in meaningless conversations, or let someone else's mood control theirs. But when you're living on a mission, you move different. You wake up with clarity. You know what matters and what doesn't. You choose your battles, your environment, your habits, all based on where you're going, not where you've been. It's not always easy. In fact, being mission-graphic often means you'll have to say no more than you say yes. You'll have to walk away from comfort, from easy options, and sometimes even from people who don't align with your direction. But that's the price of elevation. You can't grow and stay the same. You can't rise while constantly looking back. And you definitely can't level up if you're worried about impressing people who aren't even on your path. Focusing on your mission gives you tunnel vision, but in the best way. It's not about being closed-minded, it's about being clear-minded. When you have goals that matter to you, when you're passionate about where you're going, you naturally start to let go of things that don't serve that path. You don't have time for petty arguments. You don't have the energy to prove yourself to people who don't get it. You stop chasing validation and start chasing purpose. That mindset shift is what separates the distracted from the disciplined. You don't need to explain your grind to everyone. You don't need permission to pursue what lights you up. Let your results do the talking. Let your progress speak louder than your posts. When you're truly on your mission, people will feel it without you having to say a word. And here's something most people don't realize. Being focused gives you peace, not chaos, peace. When you know where you're going, your life becomes less chaotic, not more. You're not scrambling, reacting, or trying to be everything to everyone. You're centered, you're grounded. And when you're in that space, the little stuff that used to bother you just doesn't hit the same. You become harder to shake. Not because you don't feel things, but because your priorities are too clear to be disturbed by every minor thing. You might lose some people along the way. That's part of it. When you start moving with purpose, you'll notice who's really for you and who is just around for the convenience. Let them go. Your mission will attract the right people, those who support you, challenge you, and believe in your vision, even when it's still taking shape. The most powerful version of you isn't the one trying to please everyone. It's the one who wakes up every day and takes one more step toward the life you know you're meant to live, bit by bit, quietly, consistently, unapologetically. That's how you build momentum. That's how you stay aligned, and that's how you become untouchable. Not because you're avoiding the world, but because you're so committed to your path that nothing can pull you off it. One of the strongest things you can ever do for yourself is walk away from what doesn't serve you. That includes people, habits, environments, conversations, or even old versions of yourself. There's a certain power in knowing when to stay and fight, and an even greater power in knowing when to leave and protect your peace. Walking away doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean quitting. It means choosing yourself. And once you learn to do that, you become untouchable. So many people stay stuck in situations that drain them because they're afraid of the unknown, afraid of disappointing others, afraid of being alone. But what they don't realize is that staying somewhere that dims your light costs more than leaving ever will. It chips away at your confidence, it clouds your clarity, it slows down your growth, and eventually it makes you question who you really are. Walking away is an act of self-respect. It's a decision that says, I refuse to keep showing up where I'm not valued, understood, or supported. It's not about being cold or detached. It's about knowing that your energy is sacred, that your time is precious, that your peace is non-negotiable. And anything that disrupts that, no matter how familiar or comfortable, has no place in your future. Sometimes the thing you need to walk away from isn't even a person, it's a mindset, a pattern, a limiting belief that you've been carrying for years. Maybe it's the voice in your head that says you're not good enough. Maybe it's the fear that tells you to play small. Whatever it is, once you identify it, you have to decide if it's helping you grow or holding you back. If it's not helping you evolve, it has to go. And yes, letting go can hurt. You'll question yourself. You'll wonder if you're making the right decision. You might even miss what you left behind. Because even toxic things can feel familiar, and familiarity can be addicting. But don't confuse comfort with alignment. Just because something is easy or known doesn't mean it's meant for you. Growth requires discomfort, and sometimes peace only comes after the storm of walking away. People might not understand your decision. They might say, "You've changed," and they'd be right. Growth is change. And not everyone's going to grow with you. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. That's not bitterness. That's just reality. And when you stop forcing things that no longer fit, you make room for the people, opportunities, and experiences that do. What's wild is that once you get comfortable walking away, your energy shifts. You stop begging. You stop over-explaining. You stop settling. You start moving with quiet confidence, knowing that if something isn't right for you, you have the strength to release it and keep moving forward. That kind of inner peace can't be bought. That kind of freedom is earned through self-awareness, courage, and consistency. And the more you walk away from what drains you, the more you walk into what empowers you. You begin attracting situations that feel aligned, people who uplift you, spaces where you can breathe, grow, and thrive. But none of that happens until you make the first move, until you stop clinging to things out of fear and start choosing yourself out of love. It's not about being heartless. It's about having a heart that's healed enough to say, "I deserve better." And once you start living like that, the things that once had power over you lose their grip. You're no longer controlled by attachment. You're guided by purpose. And when you reach that point, nothing, not opinions, not fear, not guilt, can touch you, because you've chosen peace over pressure, alignment over approval, and self-worth over settling. At the end of the day, being untouchable isn't about building walls or pretending that nothing ever affects you. It's about building strength from the inside out. It's about becoming so grounded in who you are that no opinion, no rejection, no negativity can shake you. You master emotional control, not to suppress your feelings, but to guide them with power. You let go of needing validation because you've found your worth within. You set boundaries, not to push people away, but to protect your energy. You stay focused on your mission so the noise becomes irrelevant. And when something doesn't serve your growth, you don't beg, you don't force, you simply walk away. Becoming untouchable is a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's choosing to rise above, to move with clarity, and to show up for yourself every single day. People will notice the shift. They'll see that they can't get under your skin the way they used to. And that's not because you've changed in a bad way. It's because you've leveled up. You've chosen peace over chaos, purpose over people-pleasing, and power over passivity. So keep building that mindset. Keep choosing yourself. Stay calm. Stay focused. Stay unbothered. Because once you realize how powerful it is to not be shaken by the world, you become truly untouchable. And that's when you win. Every single time.